Hi, my name is Sue Rasmussen, and I'm one of the instructors here at the National RV Training Academy. I'm the instructor for the Advanced Water Heater Furnace class, and today what we're going to do is we're going to do a dive into some of simple maintenance items that you can do on your water heater that are going to extend the life of your water heater and hopefully save your water heater.
Welcome to another 2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday. Brought to you by the National RV Training Academy, the largest hands-on RV training academy in America. Hey, before we get to the video, which I know this is the reason why you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. Hit the subscribe button now. Thank you. Now, back to our Tech Tip Tuesday.
The first thing that we're going to talk about is your drain plug on a Dometic. So a Dometic water heater uses a drain plug. The Dometic tank is made out of aluminum, and because it's made out of aluminum, and because this is also a safety item, this drain plug is made out of a specific plastic. So number one, it's going to go in and it's going to basically hold the water in the tank. So that's part of its job, is to keep the water in the tank. But it also has another job, and it's really, really important. This job is to, if the water in the tank, so we have an enclosed tank, we have water that's being heated up, and as the water's being heated up, we have pressure that is growing and growing in the tank, increasing in the tank. We have a lot of protection built into the water heater. Some of it's part of the electrical circuit. We have components that maintain the water temperature, but we also have a couple of components that are outside of the electrical circuit, and this little teeny drain plug is one of those items, and it's built in for safety. We need to basically prevent this tank from exploding due to the increased pressure in the tank. This little guy is part of what does that. It's the last ditch protection for this water heater. The threads on this drain plug are rated at a specific temperature, and at that temperature, if everything else, all the protection, the other protection on the water heater has failed, this little drain plug is going to jump in and save the day and protect this from exploding. So what it's meant to do, the threads are meant to soften, and this is meant to pop out, and when it does, the water will drain out of the water heater, preventing an explosion, because we really don't want an explosion outside of your RV. It'd be nice not to have that happen. It's also really important what this is made out of. So you'll see it doesn't look like much. It's very unassuming. And so a lot of RV owners will look at this and they'll say, well, I could do better than that. And they're going to buy themselves, say, a metal drain plug. And if you have a metal drain plug and you then put it into an aluminum tank, what can happen is you have two dissimilar metals, and you have heat and you have pressure. You can have galvanic corrosion, and when that happens, these two, that little drain plug, that metal one, is going to get stuck in the tank, and you're never going to get it out. And if you can never get it out, now you can't ever drain it, you can't ever winterize it, you can't ever do any sanitizing of it. You've really damaged what your water heater can do. Also, people will say, well, hey, I could go to the hardware store and get one that's plastic, it's the same size, but it's not rated for the water heater. It has to be the one that's meant for the RV water heater, because that's the only one that's going to provide that additional layer of safety. So to get this out, your best bet, this is what I prefer and what I suggest, get yourself shallow well sockets. I prefer 6-point. The two sizes that the sizes you're going to need, depending on the brand that you get a couple of different options for your brands of these. You've either got Camco, you've got Dometic. They're different sizes. So a 7/8 inch socket is going to be for the Camco. A 15/16 is going to be for the Dometic. I prefer, again, a shallow well socket. Get yourself some kind of an extension. These flexible ones are really nice. And that way you can just go right into wherever you need to reach and remove your drain plug, no problem. There's pressurized water in this tank, and we don't want that shooting out at you. Make sure the water is cooler, and either let it sit without any heat sources applied to it, so let it cool down a little bit, or go inside, run some hot water out so that cold water gets forced into the tank, so you cool it down a little bit. Then, once you've cooled it down, come back out, open up your P&T valve, and I would stand to the side when you do that. Let that pressure start coming out of the tank, and then once you've done that, then you can remove your your drain plug. So it doesn't look like much, does a whole lot to protect your water heater. We already talked about our Dometic. We need a plastic drain plug in our Dometic. On our Suburban, we have a completely different setup. The Suburban tank is steel, and because of that, instead of a drain plug, what we're going to have is, or instead of a plastic drain plug, we're going to have a steel drain plug with an anode rod. The steel tank, if we leave it unattended, the steel tank will corrode over time. and will start to develop pinhole leaks in the tank. So instead, we protect it with an anode rod, something that looks like this. And this is inserted into the drain plug, into where the drain plug would go. It's right here. And so not only does it keep the water in the tank, but this anode rod is a sacrificial rod that is designed to corrode faster than the tank. So it corrodes instead of the tank. So it starts to fall apart and corrode in there. It's meant to do that, and it protects the tank. When it starts to get corroded, this is what it looks like. So this is about half used up. You're meant to replace these about when it gets to this point, at least once a year, but in some areas you're going to need to do it more often than that, because once this starts getting too corroded, for example, when it gets to this, it is no longer doing anything in the tank. It is not protecting the tank at all. In fact, I had somebody bring me this last week that she pulled out of a tank. When she pulled it out, she immediately knew there was probably something going wrong. And so she went onto the inside of the RV to look at what the condition of the tank itself was, and water was spewing out of holes in the tank. So that's what can happen. And if that happens in your tank, you have to replace your entire water heater. So this simple little anode rod can be the difference between you loving and using your water heater for as long as you can versus you needing to buy a new one because it got damaged. There are two main kinds of anode rods. This first one is the magnesium. It's more dull metal, and this is the most common kind. It's going to be the kind that comes with your water heater. It's also the kind we recommend in almost every situation, except for two. So magnesium, almost all the time, it's less expensive, and it also is going to be the better choice except for these two scenarios. The two scenarios that I would recommend swapping over to this, which is an aluminum anode rod, is if you have extremely hard water, this will last longer. So it's going to be a better bet. Swap out your magnesium, put an aluminum one in, it's going to last longer. Also, if you have coming out of your hot water taps, not your cold water taps, but your hot water only, and you get a rotten egg smell, sulfur smell, it means that the water in the tank is reacting to the magnesium, and it's going to be, you can eliminate that odor if you swap it out for an aluminum anode rod instead of a magnesium. It's going to make all the difference in the world. If you are getting that same smell out of your hot and your cold water taps, it will not make a difference. You are at a spot with the water source that actually smells like that. The good news is you're in an RV, you can move. We have talked about some very simple things that you can do to maintain your water heaters and also hopefully save the tanks. Let's save the tanks if we can. If you have other questions that you would love to ask about your water heater, feel free to ask them in the comments, and I'd be happy to create other videos in the future so we can answer them for you. And there's your tech tip.
All right, before you get to the bloopers, which is why you're here in the first place, the RV industry needs thousands of RV technicians and inspectors, and now is the perfect time to do that. If you want to make more money or have more control over your time, go ahead and click the link below. Or if you just want to learn how to fix your own RV, got something for you there. Head over to rvtechcourse.com and get started today.
Now for the reason that you're at the end of the video, roll the bloopers.
On our anode rod, everything... All right, let me restart that. All right. Ha! That would have been hilarious. And there's your tech tip. And there's your tech tip. Okay, we're done.